Welcome to the Mobile Home Friend YouTube channel. I am Charles Odell, and this is your primary resource for everything manufactured housing. Whether you are tackling a full remodel like the one you see here, or just looking for honest advice on repairs and financing, we provide the data and technical deep dives you need to succeed. Our mission is simple: to help you save money and improve your home through first principles logic and transparent cost breakdowns. For the full technical guides and even more resources, visit us at mobilehomefriend.com.
Welcome to another deep dive from Mobile Home Friend. Today, we are looking at the mobile home underbelly, based on our latest research at mobilehomefriend.com. You know, this quote really hits the nail on the head. We all worry about the stuff we can see, right? The roof, the windows. But it's this hidden space that's secretly the source of those sky-high energy bills, those freezing cold floors, and a whole laundry list of problems that can just drain your bank account. And that's exactly why we're digging into this today. Look, investing a little bit of time and money down there isn't just another repair. It's one of the absolute smartest upgrades you can make. The return on investment is incredible. You're protecting your plumbing from a potential disaster, you're stopping nasty mold in its tracks, and you will literally see the savings on your utility bills almost right away.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to expose exactly why the underbelly can be such a money pit. Then we'll walk through the 3 key pillars of a real permanent fix. We're talking insulation, ventilation, and the vapor barrier. And finally, we'll get down to the bottom line. What's this whole thing actually going to cost you?
So, why do we call it the money pit? Well, it's simple. A poorly sealed and insulated underbelly is basically a hole in your wallet that's constantly leaking cash. We're talking about crazy high heating and cooling bills, floors that feel like sheets of ice in the winter, and, the constant threat of frozen pipes and moisture damage that can rot your home's structure from the bottom up.
Right, and the underbelly isn't just empty space. It's a complete system that's doing several critical jobs all at once. It's your home's #1 defense against frozen pipes. It's essential for stopping mold. It's a huge factor in your energy costs. It's a barrier against pests, and it even helps support the actual floor you walk on.
So how do we fix this? Well, the very first piece of the puzzle is insulation. You really got to think of it as your home's thermal shield. Getting this part right is the first huge step toward getting rid of those cold floors and high energy bills for good. Now, before you even think about buying anything, you have to understand R value. Put simply, it's just a score for how well a material stops heat from moving through it. The higher the R value, the better it insulates, and the more money you're going to save. It is the single most important number to look for. Okay, so the government sets minimums through HUD, and those range from about R11 to R22, depending on where you live. But here's our pro tip, based on years of doing this. Always aim higher if you can. Especially for those of you in northern climates, pushing that R value up to R30 is where you'll see the biggest savings and feel the most comfort.
When it comes to materials, you basically have 2 main choices. On one hand, you've got fiberglass batting. It's what you see most often because it's affordable and it works. But, and this is a big but, if you live in a damp area or you just want the absolute best long-term solution, rigid foam board is the way to go. Yeah, it costs more up front, but it doesn't get ruined by moisture and pests, which means it really pays for itself over time.
All right, so you've got your high R value insulation all picked out. But listen, it will be completely worthless in just a couple of years if you don't manage the moisture down there. And that brings us to the second pillar, your skirting and ventilation. This is all about making sure your home can breathe properly. Yeah, this quote, which we pulled right from our article on mobilehomefriend.com, says it all. We really can't stress this enough. Please don't spend thousands on new insulation just to have it get soaked and ruined by trapped moisture. Proper ventilation is not a suggestion. It is absolutely non-negotiable. It protects your investment and your home.
So what's the magic number? Well, the standard rule is pretty simple. You need 1 square foot of vent opening for every 150 square feet of floor space. Just do some quick math for your own home. And our advice is to meet that number, or maybe even go a little bit over. You can't really have too much ventilation.
And it's not just about the number of vents, it's all about where you put them. You want to place them near the corners and then spread them out evenly on all sides of the house. What this does is it creates cross-ventilation, a constant, gentle flow of air that keeps that whole crawl space nice and dry. Getting that airflow right is just so critical.
Okay, let's move on to the final piece of this system. And you could argue this is the most important part for preventing rot and mold. We're talking about the ground vapor barrier. Its job is to stop moisture before it can even get into your crawl space in the first place.
It sounds almost too simple, but think about it.
All soil has moisture in it, and that moisture is constantly evaporating and rising up. When that damp air hits the cooler surfaces under your home, like your floor joists, it condenses back into water. That condensation, that's the enemy. It's what causes rot, it feeds mold, and it soaks your insulation until it's useless.
And a vapor barrier is the simple, powerful solution. It's really just a thick 6 mil sheet of plastic that you lay directly on the ground under the home. By covering the entire ground surface, you completely block that rising moisture. It's that simple. The damp ground stays on one side, and the air in your crawl space stays dry on the other. Problem solved.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now for the question I know you're all asking, how much is this all going to set me back? So let's break down the numbers, looking at both doing it yourself versus hiring a pro.
This chart, which by the way we keep updated on mobilehomefriend.com, gives you a really solid baseline for a single wide home. As you can see, a full replacement with new batting can run a few $1,000s if you hire it out, but you can save a ton of money on materials if you're willing to do it yourself. And look, even just doing the vapor barrier alone is much cheaper and still gives you a huge bang for your buck.
Oh yeah, this is a big one. We get this question all the time. Do you need to worry about pests? The answer is a resounding yes. Rodents absolutely love to tear into belly wrap and shred your nice new insulation to make their nests. So let me be crystal clear. If you have any sign of pests, you have to solve that problem completely before you spend one single dollar on new materials. Otherwise, you're just buying them expensive bedding.
So, to wrap this all up, here's your success checklist. Get that high R-value insulation, R30 if you can. Make sure you have the right amount of ventilation, 1 square foot for every 150. Install a complete 6 mil poly ground vapor barrier, and finally, make sure that outer belly wrap is totally sealed up to protect everything.
So here's the main takeaway today. Stop thinking of this as just another repair. Start seeing it as an investment. It's an investment that pays you back every single month in lower bills. It protects your single biggest asset from damage, and it makes your house a more comfortable, more valuable home. Thanks for watching. For more guides and the full article on this topic, head over to mobilehomefriend.com. Don't forget to check the links in the description below.
Thanks for watching. For more technical guides on this topic, click the link to see the in-depth article over at mobilehomefriend.com. There are many more informational dives into manufactured home topics to investigate and keep your project moving forward.